Super Dave here with episode 27 of Figures, Playsets, and Accessories that will work well with either Classics or Masterverse figures. And today I was torn because I've gone back and forth. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make this an actual episode of figures that would work well with Masterverse, and I'm still not sure, but I'm going to take a chance and go ahead and say possibly for some of you guys it will fit. I'm not a big Avatar fan. I think the first movie was fine, and I'm looking forward to watching the second one, but I wasn't blown away. It was not Star Wars or, Marvel Universe, MCU. It was just not at that level, or Lord of the Rings, or, some of those that just, are legendary for me. But I'm definitely digging these figures. McFarlane has released these two in this scale, and so these Avatar figures just look so cool that I thought, man, this would make an awesome part of the Gar Race. And the Gar people had blue skin like Skeletor, because Skeletor was King Randor's brother, long-lost brother, remember, and that's because King Myro, which is King Randor and Keldor's dad, King Myro, had a fling on an island with a Gar woman, and that's how he ended up impregnating her and them having Keldor, and that's why he has blue skin. This is from kind of the mythos, if you look it up on He-Man.org, and also was kind of alluded to through the Mike Young production, and also furthered on with the Classics bio cards, I do believe, in some of that, especially the King Myro backstory. But King Myro was a legendary king of Eternos and Eternia, and so here we have some Gar people that we can use. I think that's kind of cool, but I'm not sure about the scale. I want to measure these up with, Skeletor, but I'm thinking Gar people, Avatar, use your imagination here, and you've got some blue skin Gar people that could be introduced to the Eternos or Eternia and the whole MOTU mythos. So I'm excited about trying that out. Now, that's my imagination. You do what you want, but let's go ahead and check these guys out. There's pictures on the back, of course, of them riding some of the things that supposedly are coming out as well in this line. They're beasts that I'm sure will be seen in the movie. But the biggest thing that I want to do is check these figures out. So let's look at them out of the package over here in Eternia. The whole gang has come out to meet them. Let's check it out. And here we are in Eternia, and all of these folks are gathered to check out these new additions to the gang, and you can see my adaptations of different other figures that I am including in with my Masters of the Universe. Yes, a lot of different figures and things that we've gone over in past episodes. But yes, it is now time to look at Jake and Neytiri, and they look phenomenal. I mean, they just really look cool. These figures are just really nice looking. I'm impressed with their look, and they do come with some accessories, so let's first look at those accessories. Alright, first taking a look at Neytiri's hands. She first of all comes with a more closed type right hand, closed kind of a holding hand, and then more of a wide gripping hand there on the left. And as you see, her right already has that real kind of broad open type hand, and then her left hand has that like gesturing but with two fingers, like she's getting ready to use an arrow with a bow type hand. And then Jake, he comes with little bit different looking hands. This one almost looks like a gesturing and like the pointer finger's getting ready to come forward, as well as that arrow style hand. And then his right hand has more of the closed fist, tighter hands, tighter weapon holding hands. And then on his left he has more that again, one of those gesturing looking. I'll show it to you in a moment. They both come with a bow, but unfortunately the arrow is molded in with the bow. You can't use the arrow or the bow because they're molded together here. And his is kind of a tan color, but it's the same exact situation. I see why they did it, so that you could like have them hold it in the center like they're holding both. You can see the feather there. And the arrowhead, which is a long arrowhead there. And it is completely joined to that bow. The arrow and bow are combined. But anyway, then they both come with a little knife. This one has more of a dark shade to it, and she has a sheath on the back of her sash there that she can put her knife on. And then he has one that is more of a lighter bone color as far as the handle, and then his sheath is on his chest on that wrap there. Just look at the details on these wraps, like around his mid torso here, and his arms, and her wraps there, kind of a turquoise blue, turquoise-ish green. Looks like stuff, you know, from the sea for sure. And then their hairstyles are very, I guess, movie accurate. They look really, really attractive. Looks really well done. Those eyes are piercing and look really cool. Almost has some cat-like features, which that, you know, could go along, of course, with our Thundercats. And I really did not remember them having tails, to be honest with you. In the package you couldn't tell. But yeah, they have tails. But they look shy, they look timid, like they're, you know, a little bit uneasy about all these people coming to meet them. But that's all their accessories. You see the stuff that's on them, like that necklace, the sashes. I mean, you know, just some really cool things to give these characters some character. All right, let's now look at their articulation. All right, moving Neytiri in a little closer. Both these have fairly the same type of articulation. I did forget to mention during the accessories that they both come with this nice McFarlane stand with a peg, and that's an avatar insignia and logo there, which you can cover that up with some black tape and use it with any of your figures like I do. I use them a lot to get figures to try to stand on grass. It's a little challenging. But let's take a look at our head sculpt first, and they have similar articulation, so I'm going to go over hers more than his, but she's going to be able to look up about that much. Her hair does get in the way. It's soft, so it, you know, it can bend a little bit, but she can look up about that much. She's going to be able to look down a pretty good amount there. She does get really good pivot, because these characters, they do have a lot of expressions. They do a lot of expressions with their faces, so it's nice to be able to have that ability. So you get, you know, of course they can go full 360 around, turn her all the way around. Got the neat little designed necklace sculpted in. She does have a nice little butterfly joint there, and this stuff is non-removable. You can feel the little feathery things here, but you cannot take off that necklace or that sash there. It's molded in or glued on. I can't tell from this perspective. She does have bicep swivel for such a narrow arm. That's really nice that they still included that. And of course, check out that double jointed elbow. You get full range. That is awesome. All of these are horizontal hinged and will swivel on these wrists. And just check out this diaphragm. You get really good. I mean, she can bend back a great amount and even bend forward a really good amount. So there, that's going to help with your looking down and with your looking up for sure. Very good. And then also you get another type ball joint at the waist. You even got a belly button there, and just, you know, you're going to be able to bend back further with that. and then you're even going to be able to bend forward further using that belly joint there, or that ball joint in the front there. Moving her arm out of the way, you also see this sheath where that little knife is stored. It's got a slit down the back of it, so you can kind of either put it in from the back or go in from the top with that, so that's neat. And also this tail is on a ball joint there, so when you pop that on, it's going to be able to move pretty much back and forth, and even get a little bit of angle, swish to the side if you want it angled more that way or more that way, so you can kind of see that. All right, moving on to the legs here. She's going to be able to kick forward, not quite 90 degrees, but a pretty good amount. She's going to be able to kick back a good amount. She does have a little bit of thigh swivel, but not a whole lot there. We do get double jointed knees, which are very effective. See the little loin cloth that's soft that'll get out of the way there. And then she's going to be able to go full tiptoes with those feet here, as well as go all the way up, and has nice rockers, and even has a toe pivot. So that is just so cool. So she has really good articulation, and I am very impressed with the quality and the look of these figures. Really, really cool. Just very quickly taking a glance at Jake. And before we look at Jake's articulation, it is interesting to note that there is a height difference in these two. Neytiri is about 7 1/4 inches, whereas Jake is about 7.5 inches, actually right at the 7.5 inch mark. So Jake is quite a bit taller than our Neytiri figure, and his arms are definitely bigger, and you have a better opportunity to move. That butterfly joint is a lot smoother on him, and it'll even go up and down some as well. I forgot to mention that she will, and he does too, get better than a T pose. It's more of a Y pose, goes way out there, which is really good. Just checking about his hair. Oh yeah, he can look up a lot higher too. His hair doesn't get in the way quite as much, and he's even able to look down a little better, I believe, than she was. But everything else is pretty much the same. Really good diaphragm, belly cut there too, diaphragm. I didn't mention on her, but you can, for both of these, get full splits with the legs, so that's cool. Same feet, knees, and everything. So yeah, really, really good articulation for both of these action figures, and they just look convincing. They just really look nice. He's got the tail, same kind of deal. He's got a broader, more muscular looking back. His braids look really stellar on his head as well. Looks really good. These pointy ears with kind of a pinkish inside to them. Just like with her, she's got feathers in her hair, and he's got, you know, different kinds of things. Like his strap is a little different. He's accented with some, you know, basic things. Got a little tie around his arm. So just really, really well done. I just love these face sculpts. They look really convincing, look really good. Look very shy, don't they? Very serious. But yeah, awesome. Now let's do some comparisons. And here is Neytiri with She-Ra, and He-Man is with Jake over here. And you can see that they fit in great. I'm pleased. She-Ra is a little shorter, but you know, different races, different groups have taller features. And I will mention, I didn't mention this earlier, they both have just a little bit of a strap on their back, so you can thread that through. She has a tiny one, and it works to hold that bow on her back. And then he has a little bit of a strap on his back that allow his bow to go through, so you don't have to hold them. They can kind of have them on their back, kind of like we do with, you know, the classics He-Man with his chest armor. And but you can see how these look. He's kind of in a way, if I can get him back positioned here with it, kind of looking down at He-Man, and He-Man looking up at him, so just a tad taller than He-Man here in that sense. And I do have there's a little bit uneven on the floor here. I have both of them on stands though, so not too far off. You may not be standing quite all the way up. Let's see. But yeah, he is a little taller than He-Man. But you can see how these pair together, and this is the big test. I'm going to more focus here with the Masterverse figures because they have the articulation to keep up with these Avatar figures. All right, let's look at some more comparisons. And here is Neytiri beside Tyrus Flare, Storm Collectibles Tyrus Flare, and I do have her dressed up with some of Mezco's Conan's leather here. I think it looks cool on her, but they are looking good together. And then Jake is over here telling Hercules some hunting stories, and a Man-at-Arms has come up to listen as well. And I have all of these on stands, little black stands as well, or that same height. So yeah, Marvel Legends figures here a little bit shorter, of course. But again, these Avatar characters, they're tall, they're lanky, but I think they look great together. I mean, I think they match well with whatever line that you want to put them with, or if you just have them with themselves, Avatar, the collection. So we're not sure how deep this line will go, but I think it's just very cool that they can fit in with Eternia if you would so desire. Really cool. And Neytiri is really captivated by Tallyhawk, and Silverhawk is captivated by Neytiri. I mean, they are getting along great here as they look together. And then Lion-O is having a conversation with Jake about why they do not have tails, and Jake is like, well, we do have tails. See, here his is right there. And so, you know, why do these cats not have tails, right? All right. They're looking good together. I mean, this line, Thundercats could definitely go along with the Avatar characters here by McFarlane. They are tall, but they look, I mean, they're looking good in this group. I mean, we can see it happening, you know? All right.
You are not kin to me. I don't care what that bumbling buffoon Super Dave says. Not even the right shade of blue.
Here we are comparing Skeletor with our Avatar figures, but not just that Skeletor, the Revelation Skeletor, but also the 2-pack San Diego Comic-Con exclusive with the metal weapon Skeletor with the articulated jaw, and that color of blue is more like it. But also there's Keldor beside them, as well as the New Eternia style Skeletor, but with the regular head sculpt. I'm a big fan of this Skeletor. This is like the ultimate Skeletor in my opinion. And so you can kind of see how these line up as far as, and he never wants to hold his staff right unless you just really play around with it. But you can see there next to each other. That's a close match. But in other words, if you want to make these two a Gar Race, a group of people who are Gar of the Gar Race in your MOTU universe, you can do it. Because think about it. King Myro would have been a regular humanoid from Eternia, and if Skeletor's mom was more like, say, Neytiri here, then of course there would be a mix of her features, the mother's features, with the tail and the cat-like, you know, features, but with the regular humanoid body and the skin tone, mixed with the King Myro regular, you know, basically white dude, humanoid, you know, human-looking man, thinking like King Randor, because, you know, that's the idea. And so yeah, we could see it becoming basically like Keldor, maybe, you know, possibly. Just using some imagination here. I mean, that's kind of what I'm going to go with these. I have always wanted to find something. I've even looked at various action figures on eBay trying to find a blue skin woman that, or even blue skin figures in general, that I could convincingly feel like could be kin to Skeletor's mom, to kind of build out a story with that. I would love for He-Man to even, you know, go looking for some Gar Race people and bring them to Skeletor and say, look, dude, this is your heritage, and see if it would even touch Skeletor's heart, or something like He-Man would try to do, to have hope in everybody, even an old Skelly. But here we have them next to each other. You can just kind of see now what it looks like, and you can decide. But that's my imagination. I just wanted to share it. Okay, thank you. Here we go. And there is Neytiri with a Mythic Legion character, probably about average size for Mythic Legions. And then Jake over here is about to feed Bronx. He's got his knife out, so let me cut a piece of this off for you here, Bronx, and feed it to you. And Jake is just really fascinated by Bronx and is wanting to share some of this steak with him. Isn't that cool looking? All right, he's wagging his nub and he's excited about Jake sharing this steak. All right, thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. Tell a friend, share, please like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe if you've not done so, comment if you've got questions or comments to share, and come back again for another Super Dave review. Got more action figures on the way. Can't wait. We got Mundo's 12-inch scale, the 1/6 scale, 12-inch tall Skeletor by Mundo coming soon. The Revelation one, which was a lot better looking, I think, than the first one that they came out with. He's on the way, so looking forward to reviewing that. But come back and see us, and here's some photos in the photo gallery.